Calloway?
We have a warrant. Step away from the station.
A warrant for what? I'm in the middle of my rounds.
For the theft of over $214,000 from patients.
Oh, now I'm a thief? I've taken care of them for years.
I've spoken to their families, Denise.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Put the
They love
clipboard
me.
down.
That was the last shift Denise Calloway ever worked. 23 years of bedside care. Ended in 6 minutes. In a hallway she had walked every single day since 2011. But the arrest that morning wasn't for one patient. It was for 19. 19 elderly dementia patients. 19 forged power of attorney documents. 7 hidden bank accounts. $891,400. Drained from people who could not remember their own names, let alone that someone was stealing from them. Every document bore the stamp of a notary who had been dead since 2020. And the only reason any of it ever came to light is because one Army corporal drove 11 hours to visit her grandmother and asked a single question at the front desk. Denise Calloway is now serving 156 months in federal prison, 13 years, and she will die owing every cent back. Before we continue, have you ever had a family member in a nursing home or assisted living facility? Let us know in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time. Denise Faye Calloway was born on September 14, 1976, in the Cedar Grove neighborhood of Shreveport, Louisiana. Her mother, Vivian, worked the overnight shift at a commercial laundry facility on Greenwood Road, pressing hotel linens for $5.15 an hour. Her father left before Denise's second birthday. Vivian raised Denise and her younger brother Terrence in a 2-bedroom shotgun house on Corbett Street. The window unit cooled one room at a time. Dinner rotated between red beans, neck bones, and whatever the church pantry had that week. Denise was not a remarkable student. C's, the occasional B. She struggled through algebra. She nearly failed chemistry her junior year at Woodlawn High School. But she had one quality that every teacher noted on every report card from kindergarten through 12th grade. She was kind. Relentlessly. Instinctively kind. She was the girl who walked the younger kids to the bus stop, who braided hair for free in the cafeteria, the teenager who spent her Saturday mornings at Blessed Sacrament Church, spooning jambalaya onto paper plates for elderly members who could no longer cook for themselves. She graduated in 1994, enrolled at Southern University at Shreveport that fall on a Pell Grant, with a work-study position filing patient charts at Willis-Knighton Medical Center for $6.50 an hour. It was in that filing room, surrounded by histories, intake forms, and the quiet paperwork of human lives, that Denise decided she wanted to be a nurse. She earned her ADN in 1998, passed the NCLEX on her first attempt. Starting salary at Christus Highland Medical Center, $28,400 a year, the most money anyone in the Calloway family had ever earned. She called her mother from a payphone in the lobby on her first day and said, "Mama, I made it." For the next 8 years, Denise Calloway built a reputation in geriatric care that was, by every available measure, exceptional. Her evaluations were consistent across supervisors and facilities. Compassionate bedside manner. Patients respond well to her presence. Exemplary attendance record. She picked up extra shifts without complaint. She remembered birthdays. She stayed late to sit with patients who were dying alone. In 2006, while working full-time, she earned her BSN through Northwestern State University. Her supervisor at the time wrote, "Denise is the kind of nurse families request by name." By 2011, she had been recruited by Magnolia Pines Assisted Living and Memory Care in Bossier City. Starting salary, $52,000. Lead registered nurse, memory care unit. She was 35 years old. She had arrived at the place where she would spend the next 13 years, and where she would steal nearly $900,000 from the people who trusted her most. Magnolia Pines sat on a 6-acre campus off Airline Drive in Bossier City, Louisiana. Red brick buildings, azalea hedges, a decorative pond with a fountain. From the outside, it looked like a place where families could feel good about leaving their parents. The facility housed 142 residents across 3 wings. The memory care unit, Denise's domain, occupied the east wing, 44 beds. Every resident diagnosed with some form of cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, vascular dementia, Lewy body, frontotemporal degeneration. People who could not reliably tell you what year it was, what they had eaten for breakfast, whether anyone had visited them that week. That cognitive vulnerability was not incidental to what followed. It was the foundation of it. Each resident's financial affairs were governed by a designated responsible party, a family member, guardian, or court-appointed conservator, who held power of attorney, kept on file with the business office. Nurses and clinical staff had no role in financial matters. None. That separation existed specifically to prevent exploitation. But Magnolia Pines had a structural problem. The business office was staffed by 2 people managing billing, insurance, and Medicaid for all 142 residents. Turnover was constant. The administrative position changed hands 4 times between 2012 and 2016. Filing was chronically backlogged. Power of attorney documents were stored in physical folders in an unlocked cabinet that clinical staff accessed regularly. No electronic document management. No audit trail. No verification protocol when financial documents were updated. The system ran on trust. And the most trusted person in that building was Denise Calloway. The first documented theft occurred on March 7, 2013. Denise accessed the file of a resident named Clarence Hadley, 81 years old, retired postal worker, advanced Alzheimer's. No living children. His only listed contact was a nephew in Houston, who visited once a year at Thanksgiving. She removed Clarence's power of attorney and replaced it with a forged document listing herself as his financial representative. The notary stamp belonged to Brenda Thibodeau Carrier, a licensed notary in Caddo Parish and a member of Denise's church. Within 2 weeks, she had redirected Clarence's Social Security deposits, $1,847 per month, into a secondary account at Red River Credit Union on Benton Road. Over 14 months, she drained $25,858 before his nephew noticed the room had been downgraded. The nephew called. He was told a new power of attorney was on file. He assumed another family member had intervened. No one investigated. Denise learned from Clarence Hadley. She refined the method. By 2015, she had targeted 4 more residents: Dorothy Fant, Eugene Lattimore, Mabel Strickland, and a woman whose family asked that her name be withheld from proceedings. Each case followed the same pattern. Each victim shared 3 characteristics: advanced cognitive decline, minimal family contact, and Social Security or pension income depositing automatically into accounts no one was monitoring. The method was deliberate and patient. She would identify a resident during intake, study their visitor logs, wait, sometimes 6 months, sometimes a full year, until she was certain no family member was paying close attention. Then she would swap the power of attorney, redirect the deposits, open a new account or add a new payee, and every month the money would flow. She never took everything at once. That was the discipline that made it work. She skimmed $1,200 here, $2,000 there, enough to fund a life that a nurse earning $52,000 a year should not have been living, but not enough to trigger an automatic fraud alert at any single institution. She staggered the accounts across 3 credit unions and 2 regional banks. She paid her car note in cash. She renovated her kitchen through a contractor who accepted money orders. By 2018, she had expanded to 11 residents. The total was climbing past $400,000. She was buying designer handbags at Dillard's in Bossier City. She took a cruise to Cozumel. She put a down payment on a 3-bedroom house in the Larby Road Estates subdivision, a neighborhood where the average home sold for $310,000. Her colleagues assumed her husband had money. Denise wasn't married. She had never been married. No one at Magnolia Pines questioned Denise Calloway's lifestyle. She had been there longer than anyone except the maintenance supervisor. She trained the new hires. She organized the staff holiday parties. She was the nurse that state inspectors asked to shadow during annual reviews, because she always knew the protocols, always had the charts updated, always had a kind word for every resident on the floor. She also knew which cameras had blind spots. She knew which filing cabinets were checked during audits and which ones weren't. She knew the business office closed at 4:30 p.m. every day. She knew that the night shift supervisor had not once opened a financial file in 12 years of employment. She knew the system better than the people who built it, and every single one of her victims had dementia. Every single one. On March 19, 2024, Corporal Anaya Broussard signed out on leave from Fort Liberty, North Carolina. She was 26 years old, Army medic, 2 deployments. She had enlisted at 18 because her grandmother, Odessa May Broussard, told her that serving your country was the highest thing a person could do with their life. Odessa had said the same thing to Anaya's father before he shipped to Kuwait in 1991. He came home. He raised Anaya until he didn't. A heart attack at 44, in the produce aisle of a Brookshire's grocery store on Uri Drive. Anaya was 15. Odessa raised her after that. Social Security survivors' benefits. A pension from Odessa's late husband's 31 years at the General Motors assembly plant in Shreveport before it closed in 2012. A savings account at Barksdale Federal Credit Union that Odessa had built dollar by dollar over decades. When Anaya deployed the second time, she set up automatic payments to Magnolia Pines for supplemental care, the premium meal plan, fresh flowers every 2 weeks, a private room upgrade, $640 a month, deducted from her military pay. She arrived at Magnolia Pines on March 20th at 1:47 p.m. She found her grandmother in a shared room with a woman she did not know. The flowers were gone. The meal plan had been canceled. Odessa was wearing a gown with someone else's name on the tag. She weighed 103 pounds. She did not recognize Anaya. Anaya went to the front desk and asked for the financial records. Asked for the power of attorney on file. The clerk printed it and slid it across the counter. The document listed Denise Faye Calloway as Odessa May Broussard's designated financial representative. Effective date, January 12, 2022. Anaya had never heard that name before. She looked at the notary stamp. Brenda Thibodeau Carrier. Notarized on January 12, 2022. She pulled out her phone and searched the name. Brenda Thibodeau Carrier had died on August 3, 2020, 19 months before the document was notarized. The power of attorney that gave Denise Calloway control of Odessa Broussard's finances had been stamped by a dead woman. Anaya called the Bossier City Police Department from the parking lot at 2:31 p.m. By 3:15, a detective was on site. By the following Monday, the case had been referred to the FBI's Shreveport field office. By April, a federal grand jury had issued subpoenas for every financial record Magnolia Pines had on file. FBI Special Agent Demetria Hollins was assigned the case on April 4, 2024. She began with a single forged power of attorney for Odessa Broussard. Within 6 weeks, she had found 18 more. The pattern was identical across every file. A power of attorney document filed in the residence folder, listing Denise Calloway as the designated financial representative, notarized by Brenda Thibodeau Carrier. 14 of the 19 documents were dated after Brenda Carrier's death. Denise had been using a dead woman's notary stamp for over 3 years. No one at Magnolia Pines had ever checked. Agent Hollins subpoenaed bank records from Red River Credit Union, Barksdale Federal, Citizens National, and 2 regional banks. What came back was a complete financial map. 7 accounts, all opened between 2013 and 2022, all listing Denise Calloway as primary holder. The deposits tracked directly to the Social Security payment schedules of all 19 victims, dollar for dollar, month after month, for 11 years. The total? $891,400. Denise's personal finances told the rest of the story. The house on Larby Road Estates, purchased in 2019 for $287,000 with a $40,000 cash down payment. A pearl white Lexus RX, financed in 2021, first 12 payments made in cash money orders. Credit card statements showing Louis Vuitton purchases in Dallas. A 7-day Caribbean cruise. A brokerage account at Charles Schwab, containing $114,000 in index funds. A registered nurse earning $58,000 a year. No second income. No inheritance. No spouse. Then came the text messages. Agent Hollins obtained a warrant for Denise's phone records. What they found was not just evidence. It was a window into the architecture of the scheme, written in Denise's own words. Mr. Lattimore's daughter called the front desk today asking about his account. I moved the POA to the back of the folder. She won't find it. New admit in 14B, no kids, pension from the Army. Wife died last year. Give me 3 months. Strickland's niece stopped visiting. That's the 3rd month. Green light. I need you to run the stamp on 2 more, same as before. I'll bring the paperwork to church Sunday. That last message was sent to a woman named Felicia Day, a fellow church member who had come into possession of Brenda Thibodeau Carrier's notary kit after Brenda's death. Felicia had been stamping the forged documents at Denise's request since 2020. She was not a licensed notary. She did not understand the full scope of what she was enabling. She would later cooperate fully with federal prosecutors in exchange for a reduced charge. But the single most incriminating discovery came not from the phone records. It came from a closet. On May 14, 2024, agents searched Denise's home on Larby Road. In the master bedroom closet, behind a row of shoeboxes on the top shelf, they found a manila envelope. Inside, photocopies of all 19 forged power of attorney documents, each one bearing the same notary stamp, each one listing Denise Calloway as the designated financial representative. 14 of the 19 dated after Brenda Carrier's death. Stapled to the back of each photocopy was a printout of the corresponding victim's most recent bank statement, account number and routing number highlighted in yellow. She had kept copies of every single forgery, organized, labeled, filed with the same meticulous precision she applied to patient charts. 19 forged documents, 19 stolen lives, all in one envelope. On a shelf she dusted every Sunday. On May 14, 2024, at 6:52 a.m., Detective Reginald Fontino and FBI Special Agent Demetria Hollins arrived at Magnolia Pines. Denise had clocked in at 6 a.m., same as every Tuesday for 13 years. She was at the East Wing nursing station, reviewing medication charts, when Detective Fontino appeared at the end of the hallway. She looked up, saw the badge, saw Agent Hollins behind him, and she smiled. "Can I help you?" she said, setting the chart down slowly. "Denise Calloway," Detective Fontino said. "We have a warrant for your arrest." She didn't flinch. She tilted her head. "For what, exactly?" 19 counts of financial exploitation of the elderly, 19 counts of forgery, wire fraud, mail fraud, identity theft. She let out a slow breath through her nose, crossed her arms, looked past Fontino at Agent Hollins. "You must have the wrong person. I've been taking care of these people for 13 years. Ask anyone here." "We have," Agent Hollins said. "We've also been through your closet." That was the moment. The arms uncrossed. The smile left. Her eyes moved to the counter, then to the hallway, then to the floor. She was calculating. Every nurse on the floor had stopped moving. Every aide was watching from a doorway. "Those families," Denise said quietly. "Those families left them here to rot. Nobody came. Nobody called. I was the one who held their hands. I was the one changing sheets at 3 in the morning. I was all they had." "And you stole from them," Fontino said. Denise Calloway did not respond. She placed both palms flat on the counter, lowered her head. "I want to speak with an attorney." She was handcuffed at the nursing station at 6:58 a.m., in front of the residence she had cared for and stolen from for over a decade. On June 19, 2024, a federal grand jury in the Western District of Louisiana returned a 47-count indictment against Denise Faye Calloway. The charges: 19 counts of financial exploitation of the elderly under Louisiana Revised Statute 1493.4, 19 counts of forgery, 4 counts of wire fraud under 18 U.S.C. Section 1343, 3 counts of mail fraud under 18 U.S.C. Section 1341, 2 counts of aggravated identity theft under 18 U.S.C. Section 1028A. A separate indictment charged Felicia Day with 1 count of conspiracy and 4 counts of forgery. Day entered a cooperation agreement within 3 weeks. Denise's defense attorney filed a motion to suppress the forged documents found in her home, arguing the search warrant was overly broad. Judge Harold Millsap denied it in a 4-page ruling. A motion to sever the charges into individual trials, denied. A motion for change of venue, denied. The trial began September 9, 2024, in the federal courthouse on Fannin Street in Shreveport. It lasted 11 days. Assistant U.S. Attorney Patricia Kwan called 31 witnesses, 15 family members, 4 Magnolia Pines employees, 3 bank officials, 2 forensic accountants. Agent Hollins testified for 6 hours across 2 days. The manila envelope and its contents were entered as Government Exhibit 1. Corporal Anaya Broussard testified on September 14th. She described finding her grandmother 22 pounds lighter in a shared room, wearing another patient's gown. She described the moment she saw a stranger's name on the power of attorney. She described searching for the notary and finding an obituary. I served 2 tours overseas protecting people I never met, Anaya said. And while I was gone, this woman was robbing the person I love most in this world. A woman who can't even remember my name anymore. And she knew that. She counted on that. The family of Eugene Lattimore, a 91-year-old Korean War veteran whose $34,000 in savings had been drained, submitted a written statement. Our father served this country for 22 years. He survived combat. He survived losing his wife. He did not survive the betrayal of the woman he called his angel. He died believing someone was taking care of him. No one was. The defense called 3 character witnesses, a pastor, a former colleague, and Denise's brother. All testified she was a good person. None could explain the forged documents in her closet. On September 20th, 2024, the jury returned a verdict in 4 hours and 12 minutes. Guilty on all 47 counts. Sentencing was held November 8th, 2024. Judge Millsap addressed Denise directly for 9 minutes before pronouncing sentence. 3 passages from that statement would be quoted in every news report that followed. You did not stumble into this, Ms. Calloway. You engineered it. You selected your victims based on how alone they were in this world. You weaponized their isolation. And you did it while holding their hands, brushing their hair, and telling their families, when they bothered to call, that everything was fine. The cruelty of this crime is not the money. It is the patience. You waited until no one was watching. You forged documents using the stamp of a dead woman, and you filed copies in your own closet as if they were tax returns. Denise Faye Calloway was sentenced to 156 months in federal custody, to be followed by 3 years of supervised release. She was ordered to pay restitution of $891,400, and she was permanently barred from employment in any healthcare, caregiving, or fiduciary capacity for the remainder of her life. She was remanded immediately. She is currently housed at FMC Carswell in Fort Worth, Texas. Bureau of Prisons records list her projected release date as March 2037. She will be 60 years old. 11 years. 19 victims. $891,400. 19 forged documents, stamped by a dead notary, filed neatly in a closet on a shelf she dusted every Sunday. She knew they couldn't remember. She knew no one was watching. She knew the system was broken. She just didn't know about the granddaughter. That level of betrayal stays with you. But the case on your screen right now, it makes this one look like a warm-up.